A lot of people in townships are struggling and want a better life. I'm one of them. Most of them don't know where to start. I've seen people with great ideas, amazing talent, and skill busy looking for an answer to a question they don't understand. So they find it hard to start their business, build a profile, or get a job. Join me as I tackle the question about how to start where you are with what you have. I'll take you back to the basics of entrepreneurship, which will hopefully get you started. My name is Brian Mulambo, and I'm an entrepreneur. Hello, guys. Welcome to my weekly podcast. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Brian Mulambo. I'm the CEO and founder of 01 Creations. I'm a brand and marketing strategist with over 3 years of experience in the marketing space. I've worked with over 50 companies, hosted more than 30 entrepreneurship events. I'm part of a team that won and later hosted the National Youth Entrepreneurship Awards. I've been featured on Josie FM, Kaya FM, Cliff Central, Kasi FM, and Radio 2000. By the way, I'm studying at the University of Cape Town, doing my final year. I must say I've learned quite a lot over the years and have managed to build a business that made it to the top 100 startups to join the Startup Istanbul program in the whole world. Made it top 5 startup in Southern Africa and top 5 student startup in Cape Town. So the intention behind this podcast is to help aspiring entrepreneurs. But it's not just limited to entrepreneurs. I'll also be giving general youth advice on things such as how to build a CV, because I've reviewed quite a lot of CVs myself, because I've worked with a lot of organizations and have sat on their board. And it's quite sad to see that there are some people who actually have the right skills or the required education, they meet the criteria, but because their CV is not well put together, they are just disqualified or not considered. So I'll just be giving general advice on that as well. But the main focus will be on entrepreneurship. So I've worked with quite a lot of amazing entrepreneurs. I've been coached by some of the best business coaches in South Africa. And I must say, with the knowledge I've gathered over the past years, it has helped me quite a lot in terms of building my business and also building my profile. And now I want to give back to help other people start their businesses, start their projects, anything they want to get started with. How do you start? Honestly, I don't think there's a set formula which you need to follow for you to actually start your business or project, because we all come from different backgrounds and are faced with different challenges. So you might find someone is faced with the challenge of getting access to market. Someone maybe has a challenge of financing, or they're in an environment where they have less opportunities and it's hard for them to actually get any support. So it's not really a set answer for me to say this is what you start, this is what you need to follow. But in answering the question, I'll pretty much touch on what has helped me over the past years and what kept me going and what actually got me started. Before we answer the question on how do you start, I think it's important for us to tackle 2 most important questions, which are: what do you want to start, and why do you want to start it? I think if you can find an answer to these 2 questions, it's pretty much the first step you need for you to get started. Because the moment you know what you want to start, don't just tell me you want to build an app that can change the world, or you want to run the biggest company in the whole world, or you want to make $100 million or rands. It's about breaking it down to its simplest form. What is it that you want to start, and why do you want to start it? On the why part, I think the most important thing, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, which is something most people, especially these days, are missing, is you need to solve a problem. If you're not solving a problem, it's hard for you to sell your product. You find people who build amazing apps, amazing products, and actually no one is willing to use them because they're not solving a problem. You see, so the moment you figure out your what and why, if there's a specific challenge you're facing and you're so passionate about it, and you want to change people's lives, you want to change the situation, and that's why you want to start, I think that reason will keep you going long enough to even get started or go further. Your why is important. It's going to be your driving force, it's going to be your fuel, it's going to keep you running, especially when things get tough. Because if you have a strong why, it's going to be easy for you to keep on going. Because I don't want to sell you a fantasy. It's not easy running a business or even starting one. You actually create your own working hours, and most of the time you find that those working hours can be the whole day. It can be 2 days without sleep, all those kind of things. So it's not an easy road to take, but it's definitely up to you as to what drives you. Why do you want to do it, and what are you bringing? What being the solution to the problem you're solving? What being your offering to your why? Because you can say, okay, fine, you're solving a problem, and this is why you're solving it, and this is what you're bringing to the table to solve that problem. I think once you have those ones down, then you pretty much taken the first steps to getting started. With getting started, I think the most important thing is to move with speed. It's for you to just do it, and it might sound as if it's easy for me to say just do it, but when you do it, you need a specific way to do it. It's not just it's not like saying you want to start a business and then just start. You need to break down to yourself, to your team, or your family, or whoever you're working with. Break down, start to them. Like, what does it mean to start to you? Does it mean getting funding? Does it mean getting resources? Does it mean building a team? Does it mean drafting a business proposal? Does it mean drafting a business plan? It's all those simple things which you need to break down, because when we think of starting, most of the time, especially with people I've interacted with in the townships, when you talk to them about like starting a business or something, they see starting as this like big thing. It's like when you're about to start a business, okay, you don't see it as this big huge step, or like this big, let's say, corporation which you need to build in one single day. Because if you develop that mindset, that's when you start thinking it's impossible, and you end up stopping. Because someone says they want to start a business, and then in their picture, when starting a business for them is like, I start a business on Monday, Saturday my business is listed on the JSE. 2 months later, I have branches all over South Africa. A year later, I'm all over Africa, and that's not actually true or even possible. So what you need to do is actually break down, start for yourself, take it one step at a time. What is it that you can do today that can take you a step closer to where you want to be? Let's say, for example, you want to start a laundry business. For you to start a laundry business, break down all those things as to what do you need, what equipment do you need, where can you get the equipment from, do you need employees, all those type of things. How do you register a company? All those steps, once you break them down, it's easy for you to to see progress, because you have measurable things you can tick off. Uh, so I think it's important for you to break down starting to you. It's pretty much more like, let's say if someone wants to become a professor, you can't tell me that you want to become a professor in 1 year. What you have to do for you to actually start your journey of being a professor, you first need to go to school. Like if you go to a primary school, then move a level up, go to a secondary school, go to a high school, and then move to a tertiary institution. So once you break it down like that, you know what you need to do, when to do it, and it allows you to keep track of yourself as well, and also monitor your progress. And if you find it hard to actually monitor your progress, I think it's best for you to find someone who can keep you accountable. It's best in a team to find someone who can keep you accountable. Write your things down, write your goals down. Okay, fine. This is what I want to start. I'm in a township. I want to start a car wash. What do I need to start a car wash? You list all the things you need, and you take it one step at a time. Okay, fine. How do I get this thing? If you need funding, how do you raise funding? Which brings me to my next point, is to doing your research. Because over the past years, when I started, a lot of people can attest to this. Since high school, they've known me as, let's say, business guy, because I've started a lot of projects. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. I've started a media business, photography. I've been in the catering business, started a tutoring business, did all those type of businesses. And what happened was, later on, as I was reflecting, is that I noticed I was focusing too much on the big stuff and was not putting any emphasis or attention on the basics. And it's important for you to focus on the basics before you can focus on the big stuff. And by so saying, it's pretty much more similar to saying you need to focus on laying the foundation first before you can build a structure or build a business. What makes you capable of running the business? What makes you different? If you're solving a problem, why should it be you that's solving it? Do you have the right skills? Do you have the right language or vocab for that field you want to venture into? Do you have the right networks? Do you have all those type of things? You see, it's just the basic things which make up the big picture. So going back to like my experience as well, is that when I was starting, I was shocked, because most of the time you'd find that we were hosting events and stuff with write proposals, send about 100 emails to people, and no one would be interested. And it was not just a matter of them not being interested, but it was because of the language I used in the email, the structure of my email, my subject, all those type of things, the colors in the proposal, how the proposal itself was written. It's those small basic things which disqualify us, and we don't even take note of them. But over the years, as I've been working with businesses and sitting on their boards, reviewing applications, reviewing CVs, I got to see that these are the mistakes I've been making, and that's why it took me longer for me to get to where I am, because I've been making or repeating the same mistake over and over. So you need to make sure that you cover your basics. Do your research. If you want to venture into an industry, learn about it. And just to quote TD Jakes, he puts it nicely. He says, if you want to fly, you have to study winds and trends. So you cannot just wake up and say you want to build a plane and you want to make it fly. You need to study winds and trends, know what's happening in your industry, know what's trending, know what's required, like how can you better modify your service or product to fit the market. You need to make sure that you do the necessary research equip yourself with the right skills as well. If it means you have to take online courses, then let it be. And that's something a lot of people are kind of neglecting. You can learn a lot of things online. Let's say you can just watch a few tutorials on YouTube if you want to learn a skill. And another mistake that people make quite a lot is to consult with people who've never done what you want to do. Like they've never done it before. They don't even know what you're talking about most of the time. And I see this as a trend, especially in townships. You'd find that you can ask someone a question, and most people like to act as if they know things, even if they don't know anything. And they'll just give you an answer based on what they think is right. And you take their advice, you go for it, and it affects your business, it affects your mindset. Now you think it's impossible for you to start. I actually put this to a test with a friend of mine. We met with a few guys who wanted us to help them with their business. And one of the first questions we asked them is, how much do you think it costs to register a company? You'd find that most of them will tell you about 3,000, 4,000. They're mentioning thousands, and they don't really know that it actually costs 125 rands to register a company. And they were like shocked that it's 125, because even when they were writing their business plan, they put aside a few thousands just to register a company. You see, they are misinformed because they've consulted with people who've never registered a company before. And because those people think it's expensive, or they were told it's expensive to register a company, now they also instill that mindset that it's expensive, and you end up doing what? You end up giving up on your business, on your idea or your project, because you think, now if I can't get it registered, then what's the point? So I think it's important to also make sure that you consult with the right people. Go around your township. I'm sure there's someone who has a business, someone who started something. Go chat to them. Find out, how do they run their business? Is it registered? How do they register? Do they prepare their financial statements? Just ask them business information. How do they run it? You find there are some people, let's say, who own constructions. Like, just chat to them. Like, I see you guys are getting tenders. How do you get them? Like, what's the process? All those type of things. You just do your research. Make sure you consult with the right people, even if it's not in your field or industry, but they definitely know something that can help you get started. So make sure you consult with the right people, and you know your basics. Do your research, and make sure that before you get started, you understand fully what is it that you want to start, and why do you want to start it. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Really appreciate it. Please share with your friends if you found this useful. So this was just an introduction, and later on during the week, probably Thursday or Friday, I'm going to release the first podcast touching on business plans. So this one will just be touching on business plans, whether you need a business plan or not to get started. So please tune in, invite your friends, share the link with them. And also, I'm running a competition, so you can get to win 1 gig of data. So how you can participate is that you need to share at least 3 posts from my Facebook page. You need to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, obviously. You need to also give a review on my Facebook page. So you can rate this podcast, give a review, write your thoughts, what you think, did you find this helpful or not. So you can get to win 1 gig of data, and I'll announce the winner the next week, which is the second week for the podcast. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Mulambo, and I'm an entrepreneur. Cheers.